Can you beat Serious Sam the first encounter without killing any enemies? Let's get right into it. The rules for this challenge will be as follows. 1. Anything, except for cheating, is fair game. For this video, that basically means glitches and speedrun tricks are acceptable. I'm running the game in one segment, including the secret levels, so health, armor, and ammo will carry over from previous areas. But I will be using copious quick saves since I do kinda suck at rocket jumping. 2. In Serious Sam the first encounter, the kill counter will go up if an enemy dies. It doesn't matter if you shoot them, they get caught in enemy friendly fire, or even if they just drown. The kill counter will go up, and we are going to do our best to keep that number at 0. So in that spirit, I've decided that it's okay to hurt monsters as long as you don't kill them. If you're familiar with Doom pacifist runs, which is partially what I based this run off of, you might not agree with this rule at first. But let me explain a key difference between how enemies work in Doom versus how they work in Serious Sam. In Doom pacifist runs, you are forbidden from harming monsters directly or indirectly. But enemies can infight, and they also have an element of randomness to their movement, so it makes sense to have this rule in Doom. In Serious Sam, however, enemies will generally make a beeline toward you and attack relentlessly until they're dead. So, with faster enemies, there's no way of putting a little breathing room between you. The rules don't translate all that well between the games. Furthermore, my goal is simply to finish the level with no kills, so if an enemy needs to be harmed, but not killed in the process, I'll accept it. And 3. I'll be using the original release of Serious Sam the first encounter for this challenge, and I'll be playing on the normal difficulty, which lets me rocket jump, and lets me take more hits than I'd be able to on hard or serious difficulty. In my initial testing, playing on normal seemed like a nice sweet spot for this challenge. I was originally going to play using the Serious Sam Fusion port, but, well, they made it much harder to break out of bounds for this release. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's begin with the first level of the first encounter. I start this level by doing nothing for a few minutes. We're going to have to wait the storm out, since if we go up the ramp, a lightning strike will kill some beheadeds, and that will increase the kill counter. So, we stand by until the weather clears, and head straight for the rocket launcher secret. Then head back to the Crow Team developer secret for some extra rockets and some armor. If we return to the rocket launcher area, we can walk along the top of the wall here, rocket jump up to the next wall, and then rocket jump once more to the roof of this room with the pool in the center. Then it's just a matter of walking into the first arena, grabbing the shotgun which causes the exit door to open, along with spawning some enemies, but we can run right past them, allowing us to finish Hatshepsut with 0 kills. Well, we're off to a promising start, and next is Sand Canyon. We begin by ignoring the kamikaze trap ahead, and running to this wall and rocket jumping into the void. The void is an out-of-bounds area where Sam can fly freely in any direction, including straight up and down. So from here we can float to the level exit trigger and skip all the enemy encounters, again getting us 0 kills. This is the first difficult level for this challenge, because of all the tight corridors and passageways. As you go up the starting incline, the game spawns a kamikaze, but fortunately with some tight maneuvering around the starting columns, we can lose him and spare its life. Running past this arena and the Gnar and beheaded in this corridor isn't too hard, and if we go up this secret shortcut we can lose them, and also increase our health with a supercharge. Next I take this shortcut passage and jump over the invisible trigger near this pillar to avoid trapping us with kamikazes and arachnoids. Going up the stairs in the next area is also fairly trivial until the flying Gnar start following Sam. They are very persistent and difficult to lose, but with good timing you can get the door here to lock them out. But you have to be careful because it's pretty easy for them to get crushed there, which will increase your kill counter. There's another inconvenient kamikaze spawn here, but like last time, with a bit of smart pathing, we can lose him on the stairs. Ignore the armor shards so that the arachnoid doesn't appear, and go along the edge here to avoid spawning clears and a particularly troublesome Gnar. Grab the armor, and then proceed to the final arena. Just dodge all the enemies, rocket jump over the wall, and run to the exit. One more level with 0 kills. I have to lose a little armor here to be able to rocket jump high enough to reach this overhead window. It's a challenging jump, but doable. Sometimes, depending on how you clip into the void, you are unable to descend using the crouch key, but we can fix that by partially clipping into the hill here. With mobility restored, it's just a matter of flying to the end and taking the secret exit to the Moon Mountains. The start here took me a few tries. Sneaking past everyone is a little difficult, since they have a tendency to fall off the edge and die, or to kill each other with friendly fire, both of which increase the kill counter. But if you get lucky and reach the Harpy Island without increasing the kill counter, you can rocket jump off this invisible secret shield launcher, which takes us high enough to float through the void to the end of the level, meaning 0 kills for Moon Mountains is possible. Oasis has a bunch of random enemy spawners on items and on sections of the starting field. In order to bypass them, we can use a speedrun trick by going into the secret waterfall area here. There's a teleporter that surrounds this level to bring you back in bounds, and it clips into the level geometry slightly. If we jump into the wall here just right, we'll be brought to the middle of the field outside. Now, all we gotta do is run to this edge and do a rocket jump. The level is pretty particular about where it will let you enter the void, and if you're not precise, it will teleport you back into the level. It took me several tries, but it's doable, and it lets us once again finish a level with 0 kills.
Here comes trouble!
Trouble is indeed headed our way, so we gotta start running up that hill while dodging biomechanoids and werebills. It's possible to use the werebills to boost you forward for a faster completion time, and I also like to use one to launch me over the arena wall, since it does less damage than a rocket jump. Either way, once you're over, grab the health pill, which will spawn more health and armor, and it also spawns some clear. Just walk up to the door and hold forward while they lunge at you, and that will move your hitbox into the door just enough to touch the level end trigger, letting us beat Dunes with 0 kills. It's a hot start here, so quickly do a small rocket jump over this right-hand wall. Once you reach the next area, just rocket jump back up and run to this far side to wake up all the biomechanoids. Once they've moved out of your way a bit, jump directly down to the first of the 2 switches that open the exit, and make a run for the second switch, and then it's just a thrilling chase to the exit. Once more, we have 0 kills. Oh boy, the sewers. This was hands down the most difficult level in this challenge due to the fact that you can't break out of bounds here, and there's an abundance of electrofish, marsh hoppers, and hit scanners. I start by taking the secret passage below, since that lets us skip some otherwise mandatory kills, and also gets us a supercharge. The arachnoid will alert the fish once we exit the tunnel, and they'll start trying to knock us all over the place, but all you gotta do is swim to the button that opens the door, and then to this far side and jump up. I like to grab this armor, and then run carefully up the stairs dodging all the enemies, and if you're fast enough, you can lose the marsh hoppers and the flying gnar behind this corner. This next part is excruciating, and required many resets and some good enemy pathing. You gotta jump down these stairs in a very particular place, or maybe you just have to get lucky, I honestly don't know. All I know is that most of the time, the marsh hoppers jump down with you, and they have so little health, the fall kills them, causing your kill counter to go up. If you're lucky enough to make it down with no kills, the next challenge will be to hide from the kamikaze while avoiding the frogs, while not waking up the clear hiding underneath the stairs. If you manage all that, the next arena has some beheaded and some more clear that can one-shot the marsh hoppers. So we run around a bit, trying not to let the enemies kill each other. Once you reach the stairs, you have to jump over this particular trigger that will otherwise spawn enemies and close the entrance to the underwater section. I shoot this gnar to stun it. You really have to make sure to get the enemies off your tail here, because if they follow you underwater, they will actually drown, and that makes your kill counter go up. This took 3 recording sessions to capture, but somehow I made it to the underwater section without any frogs or gnars following me. And this section is pretty much why I made the rule that it's okay to hurt enemies without killing them. I tried many times to get through here without injuring the fish, but it's impossible. They'll kill you every time. But if you shoot them just once while they approach you, that gives you the space you need to swim past them and reach the exit. It's a tedious and frustrating time, but 0 kills is just barely possible in the sewers. Metropolis starts promising enough. Like Suburbs, you can rocket jump over the walls and walk until you reach the final arena, and you can even find the super handy out-of-bounds jump pad that will propel you back into the level. Unfortunately, this is where our 0 kill streak ends. As far as I can tell, this last fight of Metropolis is mandatory to proceed. You'll be facing a large fight made up of kamikaze, followed by harpies, bull, clear, and major biomechanoids. This level is only possible to complete with 240 kills. After suffering our first defeat in Metropolis, we can try to redeem ourselves in Alley of the Sphinxes. Walk along the edge to avoid spawning enemies, but make sure you grab this shield, which will spawn more items. Grab the rockets, but don't touch anything else, since that will make enemies appear, and continue to the end of the area. Once you reach the doors, some werewolves will charge in, and you can use them to safely jump over into the next arena. Simply run to the opposite side, and you should have just enough time to dodge the incoming kamikazes and clear, and do a rocket jump over into the final arena. Make sure you turn back to the entrance here, and let this cutscene play through, since it will spawn a clear a little ways down the center pass that we can use. Keep running to the exit door now, making sure to route the clear into the center. Stand in the middle of the door, holding the back key, and as the clear lunges at you, it should clip you right into the exit trigger. Once again, we have 0 kills. Karnak has an easy way to get out of the level, right at the beginning. Ignore the beheaded soldiers, lower the secret platform, and do a quick rocket jump out the window. Now just take a nighttime stroll to the end of level arena. At this point, fighting again becomes necessary. As far as I know, this battle can't be skipped, although you can minimize the casualties by taking out the harpies as early as possible, since there are some Gnar spawners on a timer that depend on them being alive. Once the fight concludes and the exit door opens, you can finish the level with 110 kills, which brings our total up to 350. There are some pathways on either side of Luxor's starting area that you can reach with a quick rocket jump. Resource management will be crucial in this level, so take the left path for the health potion, and make sure you grab the armor bonus behind the statue in the following area. Now, rocket jump up the right side path and make sure you grab extra health and the supercharge while you dodge the clear. This next jump is super tricky and took me a few minutes to get. Basically, you want to do a grenade rocket jump up into the small overhead window. Once you reach the void, very carefully make sure you stay within the boundary of the walls and move to the underneath of the level. You can grab some spare health here and fly all the way to the secret exit that takes you to the sacred yards with no kills for this whole level. Sacred Yards is easy, and sort of inspired this whole challenge. There's a so-called geek secret that disables all enemy spawners if you move through the level in a certain way, and break and pick up certain items. This is an easy, no kills level. Alright, the Great Pyramid, here we go. The first arena can be bypassed with a difficult grenade rocket jump. Once you are over the wall, just make sure to move to the door to spawn Ugzan. I tried several different strategies for this level, but my conclusion is that some friendly fire kills are unavoidable. The most direct route is to move forward and use the wearables to boost, quick saving as necessary in case they bump you in an unfavorable direction. They randomly boosted me onto the side of the statue, which I initially thought was good since it kept me safe from all the enemies, but once the countdown timer finished, I found it impossible to make any sort of progress towards the door. I also tried scaling the pyramid. I found out that I could walk along the side of the arena from the start without alerting any enemies, make it to the pyramid, and start climbing it by hopping along the edge. You can make it all the way to the top here and safely slide down to the exit door, but the timer will not be present. It seems like the trigger to start the door timer is at the base of the ramp, and going down to the trigger from here, and then trying to hide so that you can wait it out, is kind of a death sentence with how little health you have from going in this indirect route. The best way I could find to finish this section was to bull boost up the intended path, and then wait out the timer in this alcove on the left side facing the pyramid. Once the door opens, make a run for it, and then all that's left is to defeat Ugzan as normal. This method gives you a pretty random amount of kills, since all the kills that happen are from friendly fire between enemies. I was able to beat the Great Pyramid with 33 kills, giving us a grand total of 383 kills needed to beat Serious Sam the first encounter. Can you do better? Let me know in the comments. That concludes the challenge, but check in next week for Can You Beat Serious Sam the second encounter without any kills? Thanks for watching!